Hopefully you're already aware that a big election is happening tomorrow in Wisconsin. And among other things, it is going to determine the future of that state's Supreme Court, which is going to be hugely consequential for a number of different issues, as well as potentially the future of Wisconsin and the future of our entire country. So we're gonna jump into a few different aspects of this. First of all, the final composition of the court, which hinges on this election, will ultimately decide the fate of their 1849 abortion ban. There's all these challenges that are ready to work their way up. And that means that either Daniel Kelly or Janet, I'm gonna say Protasewicz, I apologize if I brutalized that name. So that's conservative and a liberal. Technically it's a nonpartisan position, but it's still politics. Can we not pretend that you're just a legal mind, no ideology? Anyway, they're both vying to replace a retiring conservative justice. Right now, the conservatives have a 4-3 majority, which means that this is going to determine it. And money has absolutely flooded this election. Polling has been interesting. I've been really digging into the polling. And as of March, the most recent polling, and it's not great, there's not a lot, had the Liberal up by a couple of points. There's been analysis of past iterations of runoffs in this case that seem to indicate that generally the Liberals do better in Wisconsin from March to when the second election actually happens. But considering that at the very least bodily autonomy is on the line, or I don't know, maybe throwing away the results of Wisconsin's presidential vote in 2024, I would really hope that if you are able to vote there, you do not leave anything to chance. Francesca, what do you think?
I mean, I think we all got a really rude wake-up call in 2016 about just how much courts matter and how much the Supreme Court matters, how much district courts matter, how much state Supreme Courts, like all of this stuff is so important. And if there is no other reason to vote, it is this. It is purely this, and I do think voting is a tool. It is a tool to make sure like fundamental rights do not get rolled back and do not, we have a fighting chance. It's not necessarily gonna save us. We need so much more action. But in one fell swoop, you've seen through state legislatures, through Supreme Courts, I believe we're still awaiting whether Judge Kazmark is gonna overturn the legality of the abortion pill any moment now. They can completely undo decades, half a century of progress. So yeah, man, voting sucks. You gotta hold your nose. And sure, I don't know where this liberal judge stands on a lot of issues, but I sure as hell know that they will do better than basically taking us again to this Handmaid's Tale of a future past.
Yeah, the conservative, by the way, doesn't want to say what his position is on abortion.
Of course.
Now he had a blog post where he referred to pro-choice organizations and politicians as promoting sexual libertinism.
What?
But he's probably changed. I mean, yeah, he was a full-grown adult, but now he's a judge. And again, when you become a judge, it's very important that you understand this. You no longer have ideology. You no longer have any bias. Now you are just the sum total of the many big books on the shelves behind you. You just go to them for all of your answers. You don't have any preferences in any of this. Anyway, reminder too that there was a bid to throw out around 250,000 ballots from Democratic strongholds back in the 2020 election, and that was dismissed by a 4-3 margin. So in theory, if this election had already happened at that point and gone the Republicans' way, then Wisconsin votes potentially could have been thrown out. The result could have been reversed. Now, again, individually, that wouldn't be enough for Trump to win, but they are trying to get this sort of situation going in all of the states necessary for the next time around.
And so we live and die by these courts. And hello, the 2000 election. All right, the stopping of the count by the Supreme Court of the votes in Florida. Like again, and it's just, we like to play fast and loose with this, but no, at the end of the day, yes, these stuffy, generally conservative, elitist a-holes usually are running our entire lives and have jurisdiction of our entire lives and can mean the difference between 8 years of a warmongering Republican who can throw our country into massive debt, and bail out all the banks, or Al Gore? Yeah. I didn't love Al Gore, but you think we'd be in a better effing place 20 years later? Jesus.
I suspect, if I had to guess, I think that we would be. Anyway, that's tomorrow. So everybody, take the time. If you can vote, please go vote.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.